The average age of the Washington politicians is soaring. Should there be an age limit for these time servers? Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. Rahm Emanuel, a one-time congressman and former mayor of Chicago, and a likely seeker of the Democrat Party presidential nomination in 2028, is calling for a mandatory retirement age for presidents, vice presidents, members of Congress, cabinet officers, and federal judges. A former U.S. representative and senator told the Wall Street Journal that Congress is, quote, the world's greatest retirement home. You go there and do very interesting things instead of playing cribbage or backgammon or golf, end quote. Since the 1980s, the average age of a House member has gone from 51 to 58, and in the Senate from 54 to 64. It's not just members of Congress. Supreme Court justices are notorious for hanging on until they die or at death's door. Joe Biden left office as president at age 82. He was notably failing even before he occupied the Oval Office. Despite his advancing dementia, he was allowed to serve out his full term. And of course, President Donald Trump has his 80th birthday coming up. But an arbitrary age limit is not the answer for elected officials or presidentially appointed cabinet officials. History is replete with examples of people who performed very capably past the age of 75, including President Ronald Reagan. Before and during World War II, our Secretary of War, who also oversaw the development of the atom bomb, was Henry Stimson. He celebrated his 75th birthday in the middle of the war and played a crucial part in our victory, which came 2 years after his 75th. One of the most formidable figures in British history was William Gladstone, who, in the latter half of the 1800s, served 4 different times as Prime Minister. 2 of them past the age of 75. In fact, he was 85 when he retired from his last stint. Winston Churchill was on the eve of his 77th birthday when he won election to become Prime Minister a second time. Frenchman Georges Clemenceau was in his late 70s when he became premier during the darkest days of World War I. The Tiger, as he was called, fiercely pulled together a demoralized country and military on the verge of collapse onto the road to victory. Mahathir, who was Prime Minister of Malaysia from 1981 to 2003, made a political comeback in 2018 to become Prime Minister again at the age of 92. And no one doubted his mental acuity or who was firmly in charge. One sensible way to deal with aging Washington politicians, other than not voting for them, is term limits. Say 8 consecutive years in the House of Representatives and 2 terms, that is 12 years in the Senate. Term limits are especially appropriate for the House, where rampant gerrymandering in effect allows politicians to pick their voters rather than the other way around. As for federal district and appellate judges and Supreme Court justices, the Constitution is clear. They're on for life. This focus on age, however, ignores the real problem in Washington, and that is the size and scope of government. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.